Welcome to today's talk session. My name is Deidre Moss, and I am the host of Can We Talk? I'm an educator, motivator, and a talk connoisseur. In recognition of Sir Randol Fawkes Labor Day on Friday, June 3rd, 2022, we've dedicated our session today to take a closer look at labor relations in the country. Today, we've invited two representatives from a newly formed union, Theresa Mortimer, Secretary General of the Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress, and the President of the BFSU, Bahamas Financial Services Union, and Gladstone Adderley, AAAWU. He's gonna talk about what that acronym is as we get into our session. He's the trustee for the Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress. So they're here today to help us dissect this topic. So at this time, I will pass the virtual mic to our guests so that they can introduce themselves. I'll start with Ms. Mortimer first and then come to Mr. Adderley. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Morse, and it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Theresa Mortimore. I serve currently as the president of the Bahamas Financial Services Union. That's the union that's responsible for all the persons in the financial sector. And that would be persons that are registered under the Central Bank Act 2001 and affiliated with finance in the country. So that's your lawyers, your real estate agents, your anyone that deals with the collection of funds belongs to the Bahamas Financial Services Union. I also serve as the Secretary General for the Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress. And we were officially stamped on Sunday, but we have so much work to do. So it's a get up and go for us. Go ahead, Gladstone.
All right, my name is Gladstone Adderley. I'm the president of the Airport, Airline, and Allied Workers Union, AAAWU. I'm also a trustee in the Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress. And my union represent employees from Bahamas Air and NASA Flight Service, except the pilots and managers of Bahamas Air.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. And so before we get started in our session, we would like persons, if you just join us, like and share this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel using the links on our page. We need your support to continue these talks. Also, if there's something that you think we should be talking about, feel free to let us know. We want to hear from you. With that, we'll get into our talk. And so can we talk labor relations?
Yes.
Sure we can.
Awesome.
Miss Moss, before you get started, today is June the 1st, and really in the labor movement, in the Bahamian history, it should be a very historical day. But you know, I don't think Bahamians realize how important the day is. On June the 1st, 1942, history recorded the start of the Bermud Road riot. And I don't think a lot of Bahamians realize that. But when that riot started because Bahamian workers were, as far as they were concerned, they were not being treated equal. They were not being treated fairly. The American workers were being paid more money than them. And therefore they sought out Sir Randol Fawkes' help. And they started the Bermud Road riot actually on this day in 1942. And that riot went on for days. But at the end of it all, 5 persons lost their lives. 5 persons. We have Harold McIntosh, David Smith, Roy Jones, James Alexander Roll, and Donald Johnson. Those 5 men, they paid the price. They paid the Bermud Road Riot Act with their blood. And you know, the day should have been celebrated, but some another, our history gets lost when it comes to labor, and it's sad. But it was on that premise that Randol Fawkes actually started the labor movement and got labor started. And that's why he's named the father of labor in the Bahamas today.
Wow.
Thank you. And I'm so glad that you shared that. I'm going to let you come, Mr. Adderley. I'll let you jump in. Thank you so much, Ms. Mortimer, for giving us that brief glimpse of history and how significant this date is. Thank you for sharing that information. That's very important. You were going to say something, Mr. Adderley? Thank you so much.
No, I just said I noticed that today, and it started with the old airport at Oaksfield. So
Yes,
Mortimer is right.
Okay, so you were mentioning that the riot or the march started from the old airport
No,
field.
it was the workers from the
Okay,
old airport.
okay,
was-
okay. So that's
Right.
where
Using
it
an
kind of grew from.
right.
Uh,
That's
Okay,
correct.
awesome, awesome.
Mhm.
So you mentioned, that very important piece of history, Ms. Adderley. So can you tell us what Labor Day means to you? What does this day mean to you? So I'll start with you and then come to you, Ms. Adderley.
You want me to start it first? Okay. I grew up in the Bahamas, and I grew up with my father, with my family. But my father was very instrumental in the stevedore dock. He was a stevedore, and so when you saw Labor Day, you saw my father having his 10 children. I know, but dressing up in the nice outfits because we had to go and march. My father was that much into labor. He was that much into the parade. So when I see the pictures in Sir Randol Fawkes Library with the band, with us marching with our frilled skirts on, the ladies had on their hat, the men had on their suit. That's what Labor Day was all about. And believe you me, when we had the tragedy in 2018, where we lost our 4 sisters from the Bahamas Financial Services Union, the very next year, we had a parade. That parade went from Windsor Park to the fish fry, Awaki. And we did it with bands because it was in respect of the 4 ladies that had lost their lives. We wanted nothing but wheels on the parade. And we did it in 2019. And if we could do it in 2019, I said to my colleagues, going forward, let's do it as a tribute to the 4 ladies that would have lost their lives. And it's not being carried on. So you're going to see a parade on Friday that's going to be full with trucks and vehicles and everything else. And I just think it's in poor taste to the families of the 4 ladies that lost their lives in 2018, because it was on the parade. It was on the Labor Day parade 2018 that truck went out of control and those ladies lost their lives. And I think to honor them, if we could have moved forward with a parade with bands, like how Randol Fawkes started it off way back in 1956, it would have been so great for human society. But unfortunately, only me one shed our view. And so the BFSU would not be in the parade on Friday. Go ahead, Gladstone.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay.
But Labor Day, but mind you, I really believe Labor Day are for workers. I believe Labor Day are for workers. And I said it years ago, and I will continue to say it. Even the politicians, if they want to march, put on a union shirt and come out. There's no need for you to come out in your political colors. We're not celebrating election day or some party or something. We're celebrating Labor Day. And by rights, every worker. I told someone today, even the prime minister is a worker. But if you want to march that day, put on a union shirt. There's so much unions in the Bahamas that you could get a shirt from and say, let me go on the parade and take part in the parade in a union shirt, but not a political shirt. I have a problem with the political parties and a Labor Day parade. And that's me, because I believe Labor Day are for workers and not for a political party. If you must come out in a trade union color, come out in a union shirt. And like I said, if we could go back to Randol Fawkes Day from 1956, when he had the bands and the bands lick it off and people proudly put on their, and people were dressed, they were well dressed. Okay, so you proudly put on your clothes and you hit the streets. It was a proud day. It was something that you really celebrated. And those days they marched from Windsor Park to the Southern Recreation Ground. And then when you got to the Southern Recreation Ground, it was like a big explosion, a big rally, but everybody was on one accord. And that's the difference.
Awesome. Because I heard you talk about the frill skirts and you having the dress up, and that was like a fancy occasion.
Your nice hat. Sir Randol Fawkes have a page, and so if you go on Sir Randol Fawkes page, I know you'll see the videos there with from bygone ages of people marching and the band licking it off and people really celebrating. That's Labor Day.
Awesome, awesome. So we want to keep that same spirit.
Yes.
Mr. Adderley?
Yeah, I remember Labor Day from small. Going on Wolf Road to House of Labor, getting our little bags on Labor Day with our
That's
little
right.
treats in it. Then I move up from that. I used to play in the Royal Ambassador Band. Then we used to play on Labor Day Parade.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved from that and joined Bahamas there. Then I was on Labor Day Parade marching. So I know when it started from a small, what it meant when I was small to right now as president of AAAWU. So labor was always a part of the average working class payment. And a union is just there to better those conditions of employment. And we here in the Bahamas National Association of Trade Union Congress, that's what we intend to do. That's what our umbrella may be, looking out for all the workers in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and all of them could fit right under the umbrella because we could cover all of them.
That's right.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. And we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. And so, yeah, so Mr. Adderley, you already started with that. So what is the National Alliance Trade Union Congress? And what is the purpose for the formation of this new union? So I'll jump again to Ms. Adderley and then come to you, Ms. Mortimer.
Ms. Mortimer, okay.
Ms. Adderley.
When we got together because we felt that workers in the Bahamas really was being neglected. They had we didn't see where we were going. And being a part of the National Congress of Trade Union, we weren't even having meetings. Okay, it was like we were all on our own. So the reason, the pledge, the support, the reasoning behind forming the Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress was to promote the interests, first of all, of the affiliates, those persons that are under the umbrella presently now. And believe you me, there's room under the umbrella for so much more. So we invite persons out there who want to help build the trade union movement up, who want to support workers and not just our workers, who want to support all workers, because you have some workers here that really not involved in trade union business. They're not trade union. They know there's no trade union, there's no association. So they're just out there. And we even need to reach them. Our job, our aim, our goal is to cover workers, all workers in the Bahamas. We want to defend, we want to support, we want to make sure that everybody is recognized, everybody has a say, and that labor is sustainable going forward in this country. Gladstone, you could talk about the motto and the umbrella and all that sort of stuff. I left some for you.
Yeah, really, my colleague, Ms. Mortimer, said a whole lot. Mind you, let me just throw this in there. Me and her have some things in common. I was in the Royal Ambassador, she was in the Girls Auxiliary.
Girls Auxiliary, that's right.
Both of us is 1979 graduates at GHS.
Yes, sir.
So, it's funny how labor brought us together.
Back together.
School back together again. Now, the BNATUC, we here because I was elected president of AAAWU 2 years ago. And the first time I was ever invited to any other former Congress meeting was just shortly before election. So if you've been elected for almost 2 years and they never reach out to you, I think this TUC was formed because we're not looking out for our personal gain. We're looking out for the workers is number one. I felt that the reason why me and my executive decide we going this way is because this the only way that we see that represent the total workers. No one in here want political gains or personal gains. Everybody in here looking out for the worker. And that's the bottom line of what BNATUC is all about.
Most our motto is to protect workers' rights, not just our members, protect workers' rights.
All workers' rights.
Motto, and our logo is the big umbrella. Like I said, and under that umbrella, we have every worker. So if you're a worker, come under the umbrella because we want to protect you.
All workers come under the umbrella. Awesome, awesome. And I want to talk about the significance as we look to, we already spoke about the significance of this day, June 1st. And as we look at the significance of June 3rd, or the first Friday in June, where we observe Labor Day and the formation of this new union, how significant is that? You want to share how significant is that? And any of you?
Well, the thing, we would have started meeting months ago, all right? And so we could have jumped up anytime and say the BNATUC is here. But we felt that, listen, it's labor. We're a new Congress. We're going to represent labor. So let's do it to start off Labor Week 2022. That's how important it was to us. And so the significance is that it's labor. We started off on Sunday, the beginning of Labor Week, with a church service at the new Goodwill Church of God in Pertains. Pastor Bishop Darren Woods, I mean, he gave us a word, a good word, all right? A good word. Telling us, like, you know, we're not in it, being it for us, then we need to get off now, jump out, because it's not about us, it's about the workers. And so we got a good word from Bishop Darren Woods, and then we went down to the Public Service Union where we fellowship with a meal, and then we had our officers installed, and I'll tell you who the officers are. We're led by President Belinda Wilson, First Vice President Kimsley Ferguson, Second Vice President, Belinda Wilson is from BUT. Kimsley Ferguson is from the Public Service Union. Brother Wesley Ferguson is from Taxi Cab Union. Susan Palmer, AAAWU, Gladstone's Union. Then we have Latoya Cartwright, also from, she's the fourth Vice President. She is from Freeport. She's going to be covering the Keys, Freeport, and Bimini, and all those, Abaco, and all those out there. And then I serve as the Secretary General, Theresa Mortimer, from the Bahamas Financial Services Union. My assistant is Sheila Burrows from the Hotel Allied Catering Workers Union. The treasurer is Marsha Bullard, also from the Hotel Union. Her assistant is Cedrica Roll from BUT. And the trustees, we have three trustees, Brother Gladstone Adderley, Sister Narissa King, and Brother Virgil Bowe. And we're the starting officers for the new Congress. And officers are going to be voting every 3 years. So we're not here for life. We're not here listen, one thing we said in forming this thing is, it's no I in here. It's no I, it's we. All right, so when we speak, we speak all with one voice for everybody. So the I's and the me's don't belong in the BNATUC. Okay, so that we feel like because it was Labor Week, we wanted to start off with that at the beginning of Labor Week. And then we said we'll take this week to introduce ourselves to the public. And that's what we have been doing, introducing ourselves. And it hasn't been all good. Some persons have negative, but listen, our shoulders are broad enough, we carry it all. We know who we are, and we know who we represent, and we know what we want to accomplish. Okay, and so our heads are, we fix. All right, so no bad chip on the side there is going to discourage us. We knew we're starting, but we want to go on. I said the day that when I was growing up, there was one union I remember, and that was TUC, Trade Union Congress. All right, I said, and then I remember in my early teens, all of a sudden this NCTUB came up. And I said, I remember it was Leroy Ducana and Frank Carter and Pat Bain, Donald Simonet, all these big names, you know, and they came and they formed the NCTUB. So out of the TUC came the NCTUB. Well, out of the NCTUB, you have the BNATUC. So I don't want nobody to get hurt. I don't want nobody to feel cited or to feel lost or to feel, oh, why they do that? No, listen here. As humans, when we were born with choices. You understand me? When God created Adam and Eve, they got choices. It was Eve's choice to take the fruit, to pick it and eat it. And it was a punishment for that. Our choice, the affiliates of the BNATUC, our choice was to form a new Congress that will take us further, that will conquer, that will give us the rights and the means to represent workers of the Bahamas, because we feel like it was not being done. That's our choice. And I don't want one killing us for it. Okay? Choices are there. You make them and you move on. We made this choice to form the BNATUC. We want to do it. We want to meet with the government. We want to tell them what we're all about. We want to work with you because we're Bahamians. We're not Haitians or Jamaicans or Cubans. We are Bahamians. So we only want to see the Bahamas progress. That's all we require.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Ms. Mortimer. Just looking at the comments, Ms. Linda Denise Evans. Thank you so much, Ms. Evans, for joining us today. She says, the name is a bit too long, so can she just use the acronym? Can you help her with the name?
BNATUC.
Okay, Ms. Evans, I hope that's good for you, Ms. Evans. Okay, Mr. Adderley, the significance, when you look at these dates and the Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress coming together at this particular time, formation, and I know the work was prior to this date, of course, the groundwork was prior to this date, but when you look at this date and the union coming forward, how significant is this for you, leading up to Sir Randol Fawkes Day?
Well, you know, we really wanted to make our presence felt, but we when Labor Day come, we want our eyes to be focused on us, that we now are the new kids on the block representing all the workers. And it was no better time than the present. We didn't want to go say, okay, man, we can do this next year on Labor Day. If we got to do this from last Labor Day, we had to do that, but there's no time like the present. And this is a good time. And we in it to win it.
Yes, sir. Correct.
Awesome. Now I'm looking down at some of the comments. So Ms. Evans is saying the acronym is a bit too. Ms. Evans, you have to figure out. Now it's easy. You know, it's easy to get it together. You just practice it. Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress. You can't go wrong, Ms. Evans, okay? We're gonna work with you and make sure you remember this acronym because this union is so very, very important. And so we wanna get to impact. You talk about the logo being the umbrella and all workers are gonna fall under, you know, this umbrella union. And so what do you think the impact of this union will be as it pertains to the future of labor relations in the Bahamas? So, Ms. Adderley, I will start with you first and then come to you, Ms. Mortimer.
Well, when you look at it, right now, what we did in previous meetings, we decided that every executive on the BNATUC will be responsible to help other affiliates. So when we go to let's say when we go to war, we have backup. We have plenty backup. So you might see one or two also there, but they round the corner waiting just on one call. But I mean, in a good way, because, and it ain't about the individual. It ain't about the individual, man, hey, but it's about the BNATUC. That's about supporting my boss. If I don't know something, I've been around union labor for a long time. I come up under Mr. Frank Carter. That was my mentor in the labor. Mr. Frank Carter, he used to read and sleep labor. So I know a lot about labor because he always sent us on courses and stuff. But now the BNATUC, I mean, we have a diverse group of individuals. I mean, I don't know who the government need to come to want us to get some one of them really want us to get some directions, you know, because we could take it by storm and we could start.
So you're very confident. You're confident of your representatives.
Yeah, I have no other choice. I know them all.
Yes, and Morris, let me add to that the BNATUC, our focus is going to be on helping. We found out that too much affiliates have uncompleted industrial agreement. Okay, so the focus is to get in there and get those industrial agreements finished. Our workers, they live by that, and that's like their Bible. So we need them to be finished. We don't need to be locking on and holding on. Just Monday past, I signed off my collective agreement with CIBC for East Caribbean, and I'm working on another one with the trust at this moment. We need to get them completed because our employees need them. Okay, so that's a big thing for us to make sure that's completed with all of the affiliates under the BNATUC. And then we want to focus on training, professional training. I was responsible for, along with several other persons were responsible for the Labor College. And since I left it in 2018, nothing has been done. We need to train our young.
Oh, can you talk a little bit more about that, the Labor College?
The Labor College? Yeah. The Labor College was started under the late Patrick Bain, our trade union leader, Patrick Bain. And so every year we would try to put on at least two different semesters. It was to a point where I know Senator Jennifer Isaac Dotson was actually trying to get it into the curriculum of at that time it was COB, but we were working on it. And so we were going places. I could tell you that I am a product of the valedictorian of the Labor College. So we had valedictorians, persons came, it was a 3-part course that you had to complete. You had exams, and you learn the trade union movement. You learn from where, like what I started off with, the Labor Day. You learn where the Burma Road came, what the majority rule mean. We went through Sir Randol Fawkes books, The Faith That Moved the Mountain. Heavy stuff, you know. Labor, unite or perish. We did this. We had persons coming from ILO, and they would talk about what ILO means, International Labor Organization, when it was formed, what is the purpose of ILO. We had CCL. What does CCL mean? Caribbean Congress of Labor. What is it about? Who does it represent? We did these things. We had international, local, regional. We did it all. All right. Like I said, we would have had courses every year, but I don't think course was held since 2017, honestly. So we want to get that started. We were trying to get it into labor, into the schools. It could go into the primary schools, because it's at that point that their minds are open to receive. And I said, what you put in this mind at a very young age, believe you me, it stays there for a very long time. Okay, so we want to get back in there. We want to get it, if we could get into the schools on the school days to teach what it is about. The talk on assemblies. We did these things. We talk on assemblies. We was able to say what majority rule they mean, what the Commonwealth they means. These things that labor needs to be involved in, that labor should have a part in. So we want to get back there. We want to get back to getting our young trade unionists. Listen, trade union leaders shouldn't be by popularity. Okay, it should be because you came up to the rank. You came up as a member, as a shop steward. You might have been a trustee sometime or another. You might have been a secretary general. You don't join the trade union movement the day and tomorrow you run for the president. No, you don't do that. You understand? But that seems to be.
Ms. Mortimer, so you mashing some corns. I just don't want you to mash some corns today. Ms. Mortimer, you got to behave now. Just behave today.
Yeah, but it's serious though. Moss, it is serious. You need to come up. You need to get the training so that you know what to do. And
so you can't join the day and lead tomorrow.
No, because that's why we heard. That's why we lost our way. Persons got the presidency and don't know what the president means. You know, they think the president is I, and everything I do and everything I have to do. It's this they don't have the democracy. They have this dictatorship. You know, I have to be involved in everything, and if I ain't doing it, then no one can do it. That's not what the BNAC is about.
Yeah.
We and under the BNAC, we want to increase the affiliates membership and union. We want to, like I said 2 days ago, a young lady, she was a homemaker, right? She did a home, and she, you know, why should a homemaker not get vacation? Why should her hours be from 7 to 7? It's a 40-hour work week in the Bahamas.
What is she again? What did you say she is?
A homemaker. She keeps home.
Okay.
She's a maid. She's a maid. She's a maid.
And she can't get vacation.
No, you know, she can't get vacation. Her hours is from 7 to 7 or from 7 to 8. She can't leave the children until the mother or the father reach. No, and don't get no overtime for it. No, that's taking advantage of the worker.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen that way.
Yeah.
You know, and then you need to make sure that she's paying, that they're paying national insurance for. That's a job you need to pay national insurance for. See, people look at the job and they feel like, oh, it's a measly job, and because it's a measly job, I don't owe you nothing. But it's not measly if she had to come and take care of your kids and take care of your home while you at work.
And work long hours.
Especially those hours. Those hours are too long, honestly.
Yeah, that's not even an 8-hour work week. That's a 10-hour. That's a 12-hour.
Listen, that's almost a 12-hour work week, and it's inhumane. It's not treating the worker right. So we got the maids who needs an association because they know that someone is looking out for them. The BNATUC, that's our job. Okay, that's our job. I said to the young lady in the straw market, join the straw market association. Listen, there are 3 congresses. They don't have to, if they don't want to come with the BNATUC, that's fine. But join an association and make sure that they're under one of the umbrellas so that you're accounted for, so that someone is looking out for you. And if you feel like one Congress isn't feeding you, then by all means, you go to the next Congress, we get 3. And we only get 3, I tell someone today. Barbados have but 5.
Oh, wow.
Trinidad has about 9. You know, they're Congresses. You mean, you know, it's there. But you don't get upset under it all. We are leaders, and we need to learn to get together, and we need to lead. We need to support each other, not break each other down. So I don't want to break no trade union down. I don't want to break no trade union down. I want to lift them up. Listen, and if you're not comfortable with US, then the BNATUC welcomes you to come along, because we taking this road by storm. We have to do it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to come right back to you. I just wanted to look at the comments again. Marcia Rose, she's saying, hi, Gladstone. Hi, Risa. And Ms. Evans, she indicated that she is a retired activist, and she said to make sure the Congress has its affiliates sit at the table first before taking action. You want to comment? Any of you want to comment on that comment?
When she said, Ms. Evans actually was a part of the Bahamas Financial Services Union. She was our treasurer for years. She was also the treasurer of the NCTUB for years. So she's a well-versed activist in the trade union movement. So when she says sit at the table, when the affiliates sit at the table, definitely. Our announcement was made this week, and this month it'll be our first affiliation meeting when the affiliates will come to the table. Our central council will meet, and we will go from there. We will hear from our affiliates this month, June. So we have that covered.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adderley. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah.
Would you like to add?
Let me just piggyback on what Ms. Mortimer said. Just take for me for instance, I come up through the ranks of the union. I started out as shop steward. I was assistant general secretary. I was general secretary. I work under three presidents. Michael Roberts, Frank Carter, Nella Rain Arden, the late Nella Rain Arden, and they're saying something you do overnight and become president. Like she said, you have to come up to the rank in order to, you have to see how it works. You have to know how it works. So I mean, even me with all of that experience still lacking some. I have to reach out to other colleagues in order to get information and get, So I agree with her when she say you can't just come here and become president of overnight or nothing like that.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mortimer. You got to be careful. You don't want to offend some persons who believe that if they start today, they should lead tomorrow. You don't want to offend those.
No, we don't want to offend them, but we want them to know that, listen, it's not a who I know best. I say that to my members all the time. Listen, I'm a president. I don't have no problem with no one challenging me. But I say to them, make sure when you go to the polls, we go to the polls in November of this year for the BFSU. I don't have no problem with no one challenging me, but make sure you know what that person's about. You know what they're bringing to the table. You know that they could listen, speak out and speak for you. It's too much. I'm serious.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Our labor unions of bygone ages, they would tell you, it's not a friendship thing. You have to get and you have to learn and you have to know what to say and know how to say it. How could you sit around the table and negotiate on my behalf and you don't know the first thing in the negotiation? No, you need to know, because if you don't know, then you can mean that all of those benefits that are already negotiated on the table that the members enjoying, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what to negotiate for, and believe you, management will take it from you. They will take it from you.
Definitely.
Management, that's their job and they do it well.
Yeah, definitely. And as we look at, the state of our environment right now, as it pertains to labor, different things going on, inflation, we have to advocate for, increase in salaries and all these things going on. We have so many issues, basically what I'm trying to say. There's so many issues going on. So you want someone who can sit at the table, who has that level of experience, like you said, and who is able to advocate on behalf of our workers. And that is very important. So I definitely understand why you're stressing that. Because again, you want people who are well informed and you want them to be able to advocate on your behalf. So definitely understand, why you're so passionate about that. And so what is your view on how far we've come as a nation in addressing labor disputes? I'll start with you, Ms. Adderley, and then come Ms. Mortimer, and then come to you, Ms. Adderley. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so
sorry, I just want to interject just a minute. I'm gonna come right back to you, Ms. Adderley, but I just want to thank Ms. Belinda Wilson. I just want to take, before I forget, I want to take a moment just to thank Ms. Belinda Wilson for getting our panel together. Thank you so much, Ms. Wilson. You are very much appreciated. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Ms. Adderley.
Okay, you were asking about the labor movement and how we saw
progress, how far we've come as we consider all our labor disputes and where we started from. Road riots. And
I wouldn't say that our disputes have been settled. We have a lot of issues still outstanding, and I mean by the fact that the industrial agreements are still outstanding, they're not completed. That should tell you that the labor issues are definitely outstanding. I know you live here where I live, and so you hear about all the. Just today in the paper, I saw nurses to go for strike vote, and I'm reading, Jesus, the nurses going for strike vote. What's happening here? But as trade union leaders, we need to be made aware, and we need to be aware of everything that is coming down the pipeline. Okay, so it's not just us; it's the movement on the whole. It's workers on the whole, and as trade union leaders, we need to ensure that all workers well covered. The benefits are in place. We know what we're asking for. We know what we're going after, and we have outstanding issues. It's a work in progress. We expect to see it move on. We expect to see it get better, if I must say so, especially under the BNATUC. We expect that it will get better because we expect that we're going to be invited to the table. Our viewers are going to be listened to. We're going to have a communication, open communication, where you listen to me and I listen to you. I could give my opinion. You could ask me for a different view and all that sort of things. But we need to learn to get on with one another. We need to learn to agree with one another. And that way we move forward. But it's a work in progress. It's outstanding. We know it's outstanding, but we have to work on it. So it's going to take time. It's not going to come overnight. I promise you that.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to go back to the comments again, and I'm going to come to you, Mr. Adderley. I want to thank you, Mrs. Seymour, for listening in. Thank you so much. Appreciate your viewing us today. And for all of our viewers for liking and sharing and joining us in this session today. And this very important topic of labor relations in the Bahamas as we look forward to Sir Randol Fawkes Labor Day. And you would have talked about the history, a little bit of the history, gave us a little glimpse, Ms. Mortimore. I want to thank you for that. So we'll jump to you, Mr. Adderley.
Okay. First of all, let me just piggyback a little bit off Ms. Mortimer when she said, take for instance, AAAWU. With Bahamas, we have an outstanding industrial agreement that expired 4 years ago. Flight service expired 2 years ago. So we still waiting to get to the table with both of those. And like Ms. Mortimer said, it ain't no overnight thing. It could take some time. But here it is in the last, let's say 4 or 5 years, you had VAT increase, but nobody's salary was increased. No worker salary is increased. VAT gone up. So everything, the cost of living, I think if they was to give everybody 50% increase in salary, that still wouldn't cover it. But we know that's out of the ordinary, and we can never get that. But that just show how drastic and how dire this labor movement is. And with the BNATUC, hope to put a little bit better playing field together. And we are when we come to the table, because when you look at us, we looking out for the betterment of any company that we represent, any entity that we represent, because without them, it'll be no us. So we looking forward to negotiation with Bahamas Air and Nassau Flight Service, because we've been out for too long.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead. Continue.
No, I was saying, and with this Labor Day coming up, we're gonna be looking for our support. We're gonna have our support, so and gonna let our voices be heard. That it's I don't want to use that. I almost going to use that phrase, but it's a different day now.
Adderley, be careful, Mr. Adderley.
Yeah.
You almost slip up, right? You almost slipped
up. And Morris, as you're talking to us, but just our groups, though that we also have the hotel union. They have outstanding industrial agreement that needs to be completed. And I know you know that public service union is crying every day, trying to get their portion sorted out. And of course, even the two associations with us, the Police Staff Association and the Correctional Officer Staff Association, they have issues. They have issues outstanding that needs to be dealt with. And so everybody has outstanding issues that need to be dealt with. And we intend that we'll be invited to the table to sit down and bring some resolution to these outstanding issues.
It's so many issues. It's so many. Yeah.
It's a lot of issues. Mhm.
And the Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress intends to tackle them all. You ready to go?
Yes, yes, we have to. We have to. Labor is that important to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas that we have to take it on. We have, if we don't take it on, labor is going to be a thing of the past, and we can't have it. Honestly, our children and our children's children need to grow up in the kind of environment that we grew up in, where where it was labor. We have trade union leaders that would have gone on to the great beyond. But even the father of labor, he fought for benefits. Okay, maternity benefits is because of the labor union. Okay.
Yes.
Compassionate leave is because of the labor movement.
Yes.
Our mileage allowance and shift allowance, it's because of the labor movement that we have these things, that we could enjoy them, that we could benefit from them. And so we can't afford for labor to disappear, because we can't afford for our benefits to disappear.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm always excited to hear you speak about what this day is about and what it represents. And it's very important. And thank you again for sharing just a brief glimpse of history into the and what Labor Day is, and as it pertains to where we started from with the Burma Road riots. And Mr. Adderley talked about where it started with the airline workers. And so I just want to thank you for mentioning that little bit of history. So we started a new segment in our session. We're winding down. We started a new session called the Fast Talk segment. We give our guests 60 seconds to answer each question. So I'm going to start with you first, Ms. Mortimore. I know you can do this. So you have a minute to answer each question. Just a minute. All right. So our first question is, what do you think the future of labor relations will look like in the country?
With the BNATUC, I expect that labor relationships will improve in our country. It's not the best now, but I expect that it's going to get better with this new Congress in place.
How would you like to be remembered for the contributions that you've made to labor relations in the country?
As one who sacrificed her opinions, her goals, to ensure that workers got what was rightfully theirs.
And what do you think would be one of the most important, the first, at least an important dispute that the National Alliance, Trade Union Alliance, Congress should address?
Oh, definitely those outstanding contracts.
Is there one particular one that stands out?
Right. I feel like I'm the only one. Well, I have one outstanding, but I haven't even begun to work on it yet. We're still waiting to get to the table for the first time. But the contracts, see, the contract is like the employer's Bible. They live by that. And even though we said the old one doesn't expire until the new one takes place, you got some employers who play the fool part, who tell you straight away, oh, the contract is, and we have lawyers who come up and tell you, oh, you don't have to give them anything. They don't have a contract to work with. The employers, the employer is not the best person to be dealing with when you have an expired contract. It can be real dirty. So I would say, let's get those contracts signed, sealed, and delivered, and move on.
Thank you for that. And so I come to you with our Fast Talk segment, Mr. Adderley. First question, same question. What do you think the future of labor relations will look like in the country?
Well, right now, we're trying to get a lot of young people involved. So we could have this fast forward. But right now, with the amount of knowledge and seeing people in the labor movement now, we have to bring up some young people, else it'll disappear. And the key is to bring up the young people to get them involved in labor in this country. Because I ain't gonna be around too much longer. I up in our age bracket.
Thank you. And how would you like to be remembered for the contributions that you've made to labor relations in the country?
Well, the key is sacrifice. Now, I worked the Bahamas. I've been fired for labor twice from Bahamas. And I just want to know, I want people to remember that, hey, it isn't about the individual, it's about the cause. The cause. Once you fight for a cause, that's what I want to be remembered for.
And what will be one of the first, what do you think is the one of the most important disputes that the National Trade Union, Congress needs to address?
I mean, I'll say the contract, but then we have this minimum and livable wage. We need to do something.
Yes.
We need to do something with that. That should be the first thing.
Let's talk a little bit about that. The livable wage. What would you like to? I see you got a little passionate, Miss Mortimore. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Most in our country today, the poor is hurting. Even the middle class is hurting, because to have a car is one thing, but if you have a car and you can't drive that car, then you might as well don't have a car. The price of gasoline, Moss, is ridiculous, and it doesn't seem like no one is reaching out or even lending an ear to say this is what we're doing. I think it was about 2 weeks, probably about a week ago or 2 weeks ago or so, when the president of the petroleum, he spoke out. He said that they were waiting to go to meet with the government to see what can be done. That was the last I heard about it. When you look at the fact that we had what we call a no tax on bread basket items, and then we went from paying 89 cents for a can of tuna to paying almost $1.50 or $2. I buy olive oil. Olive oil went from $7 to almost $12. The thing about it is the VAT came down, but the prices went up. So what good was it? At 12%, you paid a better price than you're paying at 10. Something is wrong with this picture, and it don't seem like no one is seeing it. So that livable wage, it definitely, you need to now put in your collective agreement a livable wage percentage allowance, because that's what we need to make it. Everything is going up except the salary. The grocery is going up, the water bill is going up, the electricity bill is going up. Everything has
gas
except
is skyrocketing. And you mentioned an important point about the increase. I'm going to let you jump in, but you mentioned an important point. Just as simple as that slight increase in just the purchase of tuna, that makes a big difference between someone who is living on their paycheck. That makes a huge difference. Even though it may seem like an insignificant increase, that's a huge difference. Even in the cost of eggs. Eggs was about maybe $2 and some change. Going into the store, it's like almost $5.
I said something the other day was $7. I was like, what the hell? But then, something, Morris, I think about pensioners who has a set pension.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Come on. The pensioners, where else are they going to get money from? And this $500 was already small.
Stretched.
It was already stretched to the max. What do they do? What do they do? Who's listening? That's the question. Who is saying, we're hurting out here? Come, throw us a line. We need help. It's like no one is listening.
Definitely. I'm going to jump to our comments. If you wanted to add, Mr. Adderley, I'll give you an opportunity to do so. I just want to mention Keva Oliver, who mentioned Great Show. Thank you so much, Keva, for joining us. Thank you again, Linda Denise Evans, for joining us. She says, if you can't get it in salary work, get it with the other benefits. Thank you for mentioning that, Ms. Evans. And she also said, start teaching the Labor Act through social media, she says. And Julian is saying the labor movement is so important. Thank you so much, Julian. And he says good questions. Any feedback on the comments?
No, they're all good. And I want to say thank you for your comments. We appreciate them. But we don't do it alone. We need you in order to do it. So we need the affiliates. When you see meeting is called, come out, give your input, give your 5 cents. I often say every answer, every question is important. There's no such thing as a stupid answer or stupid question. Come out, ask. Together, we build together.
And
Okay?
and another thing is labor go deep is deep rooted in family. Because I know I have brothers and sisters, and they ask me, "How you getting this? You getting that? How come I ain't getting that and I ain't getting this?" But they working just as hard as me. But because of the union, we was able to get certain things, but the really the poor people in this country, we should have a union for poor people, because then we'll fight for them on their own. But no one is looking out for them. We trying hard in the BNATUC to look out for the disenfranchised. Because if you get a job and you making $180 a week, I mean, and gas gone up. I said it's only put 20 in my car, but I mean, don't get much to go up 20. I go to the pump.
You still put $20 in your car?
Yeah.
Kind of.
I see.
I mean,
it all depends where you live. I live 5 minutes from work.
You live 5 minutes from work.
I have to ask you that on the side, because yeah.
That's all I could afford.
So I want to mention this important comment, and I think this is very important. Ms. Evans said, one thing I know, the government, as the biggest employer in the country, needs to respect workers so that other employers can follow.
Exactly.
That's a very important point. Thank
very
you so
important
much.
point. It's true, because the employer will tell you, they'll be the first to tell you the government don't do it. And because the government don't do it, they're not going to do it. So the government break the rule, then the private employer breaks the rule. And they dare you to do, and you could take them to the industrial tribunal, and they will tell you straight away, the government do it. You understand? So the government needs to be careful of the rules they break.
And I want to throw it back to you as we end this session. I want to close out with any additional comments that you would like to add. Anything else you may have missed that you didn't get to say. I'll start with you, Mr. Adderley, and then come to you, Ms. Mortimore. Is there any additional comments you would like to add before we close?
Basically, we are here for our members, right? I'm here because of my members. I look out for my members, and you have to. We have to try and educate our members, and that's going to be another key. What we have to do, we have to educate our members, because I mean, in the past we done a horrible job, because the average worker or the average member of a union don't know what they're entitled to, and I saw like people come ask me, my members come asking all of our executive, what how come this one get that and that one get that? But we have to educate our members and not allow sometimes our members is cause the union, because they do things and then they'll say, well, when I get a union, they can represent me. That's one of the downside of it, but still the good members outweigh the bad ones. So you have the good and the bad. So we have to educate our members. That's one of the key. And once they know the labor movement in the country and the laws and everything, then I think we'll have better workers.
I agree. I totally agree with him. Education is very important when it comes to moving forward in the trade union movement. They have to know what their rights are. They have to know what they're entitled to, so they know how to carry themselves, how to treat themselves. And I often say to my members, if you see your union member doing something wrong, by all means correct them, call them and say, listen here, that's not in the collective agreement. You come in late every morning. Come on, the collective agreement speaks to that. So I don't want you to continue that way, because then you're going to get a letter who you gonna blame when you get a letter? You can't blame the union for the letter. Come on. So let's see how best we can educate and move forward. I would like to add in there that this coming Friday is actually the 4th anniversary to my 4 fallen sisters from the BFSU. And so we won't be marching. We will go to the memorial site. We'll have a memorial for them and we'll lay our wreath. And we just won't take part in the parade because the parade is having wheels. And I told them, I don't think it's right for me to take part in the parade that is having wheels, because wheels is why my sisters are on here today. If we had gone back to what we used to with our bags, what we did in 2019, it'd be okay. But since I'm the only one that's hurting and feel the hurt of my sisters, then that's fine. You know, this one can sit up. They'll carry on, but we'll definitely be at our monument site in Zion Baptist Churchyard to pay tribute to our 4 fallen sisters. It's their 4th anniversary, and we will never forget them. They may forget the Burmott Road guys, but the 4 fallen sisters of the BFSU, Tammy Williams Gibson, Diane Gray Ferguson, Tabitha Bethel Hay, and Kathleen Rogers Fernandez will never be forgotten by the Bahamas Financial Services Union. They were on the parade, they were part of us. And so we celebrate them every Labor Day.
Yeah, I agree with Miss Mortimer. One of them was our schoolmate also.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll help out pay tribute with the fallen sisters.
Thank you. I want to thank you, Ms. Mortimore, Theresa Mortimore, President of the BFSU, Bahamas Financial Services Union, and Secretary General of the Bahamas National Trade Union Congress. Say that fast. And also, I want to thank you, Mr. Gladstone Adderley, Trustee for the Bahamas National Trade Union Congress. Okay, I want to thank you. And also the AAAWU, right? Could you discuss those acronyms quickly? I don't want to mess that up.
Airport, Airline, and Allied Workers Union. That's what AAAW stands for. Anybody in the airline industry or airport, that's who we represent.
All right, thank you so much. So I want to thank all of our viewers for listening into our talk. I would like to thank our guests who displayed so much passion today. Thank you so much. I hope we didn't mash any corns. Ms. Mortimer, you really mashed some corns today. But I would like to thank our viewers for listening in. Like our page for future notifications of upcoming talks. Comment under our videos. Let us know your thoughts and let us know what you want us to talk about. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Can We Talk with Deidre Moss. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter using the addresses provided on our page. And remember, let's think, talk, do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're most welcome, and thank you.